Sometime in 2011, four men answered a Craigslist ad promising them a place to live and $1,200 a month in exchange for working on a 688-acre farm. Unbeknownst to them, they were being lured to their graves by 50-year-old Richard Beasley and his 16-year-old accomplice, Brogan Rafferty. The victims, 56-year-old Ralph Geiger, 47-year-old Timothy Kern, and 51-year-old David Pauley, were all murdered, then robbed once they met up with Richard Beasley. It was the fourth victim, 47-year-old Scott Davis, that was shot but managed to escape and alert police. In 2012, the now 17-year-old Brogan Rafferty was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and in 2013, Richard Beasley was given 3 death sentences, one for each murdered victim. In the summer of 2014, an 18-year-old pregnant girl, Brooke Slocum, and her 25-year-old boyfriend, Charlie Openeer, posted an ad on Craigslist for a sexual encounter with a stranger in exchange for money. Unfortunately for the couple, Brady Oistrakh answered the ad. A couple days later, Charlie Openeer's headless body was found in a park, but Brooke was nowhere to be found. Investigators were able to piece the puzzles together and went to Brady Oistrakh's home, where he resisted officers and fled in his car. After a brief chase, Brady Oistrakh ended up crashing his car. When officers approached his vehicle, they discovered Brady with a self-inflicted gunshot wound and died on the scene. When authorities popped open the trunk, they discovered Brooke's lifeless body. Unfortunately, her baby didn't survive. Investigators concluded that Brooke was taken alive by Brady Oistrakh before being strangled and stuffed in his trunk. In an interview with Brooke's father, Greg Slocum, he revealed that he had warned his daughter about the couple's risky behavior. Desperately needing money, the couple went along with their plan anyways, which ultimately led to their lives being cut short. In August of 2015, an off-duty police officer, Don Allen, placed an anonymous ad on Craigslist looking for a casual hookup. Husband and wife Philip and Violet Walter answered Don's ad and were invited to the victim's home. Authorities haven't released too much information to the public because of its ongoing investigation and trials, but what we do know is that Don Allen's fiancée found his lifeless body at their home. According to the charges against Philip and Violet Walter, they have contributed to the strangulation death of Officer Don Allen. Since the arrest of Philip and Violet, authorities were able to gather enough evidence to place the couple in the scene of the crime. A local pawn shop were able to point out the couple who sold them PlayStation 4 games and equipment that was stolen from Don's home, along with a bracelet that belonged to Don's fiancée. Authorities also found a water bottle with fingerprints belonging to Violet Walter, which placed her directly at the crime scene. Philip and Violet Walter are currently sitting in jail, awaiting their trial for the murder of Officer Don Allen. John Caddis was a self-described sadomasochist who had an obsession with knives and blades. This caught the victim's attention, local newsman George Weber, and invited the teenager to his Brooklyn home for sex. What happened that night, no one knows for certain, but what we do know is that John Caddis bound George Weber and stabbed him over 50 times. The murderer changed into George Weber's clothes and took off. During the train ride back home, the conductor noticed John's left hand gushing with blood and alerted authorities. Cops brought John to the hospital and questioned him about his injury, to which he explained that he had cut himself while playing with a broken bottle. John was released right after. When authorities found George Weber's body, they eventually connected the puzzle together and tracked John's whereabouts, arresting him without incident. During the trial, the murder suspect wasn't shy about showing his arrogance, often smirking and winking in the courtroom. In the end, John was given a sentence of 25 years to life in the murder of George Weber. On November 2013, 19-year-old Miranda Barber and her 22-year-old husband, Elliot Barber, used Craigslist to meet up with their victim, 42-year-old Troy LaFerrara. Miranda arranged to have sex with Troy in exchange for money and offered to pick him up at a local mall in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania. On November 11, 2013, Miranda drove Troy LaFerrara to a nearby city. Unbeknownst to the victim, Miranda's husband, Elliot Barber, was hiding in the back seat. Once the car came to a complete stop, Elliot emerged from the back seat and wrapped a cord around Troy's neck, catching the victim off guard. While Troy was struggling to break free, Miranda Barber pulled out a knife and began stabbing him to death. The couple discarded Troy's body in an alley and drove off. Authorities were able to trace the murder back to the couple and had enough evidence to gain a confession. When Miranda was questioned as to why the couple killed Troy LaFerrara, she says they did it because they've always fantasized about killing someone together. Miranda Barber's revelations to the Daily Item newspaper captivated the media and the nation. She claimed that as a member of a Satanist cult, she had killed over 22 people within 6 years across America. Authorities took Miranda's confession seriously and launched an investigation to corroborate her claim. So far, no evidence has proven Miranda's story to be true. The couple has since been sentenced to life without the possibility of parole.